Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sentinel Sports Extra, Cavaliers post-game report. Tonight, maybe the NBA will start believing in the Cavaliers. They were down 25-3 in the first quarter and came back to defeat the Boston Celtics 123-116 in Boston. Not in Cleveland, in Boston, to run their record to 49-10. They are now 7.5 games ahead of the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference, and now should be the favorite to win the Eastern Conference. When you come back from a deficit like that, on their home floor and win the game, you must pass them as the favorite in the Eastern Conference. Of course, the national media will make excuses. Porzingis was out. Drew Holiday was out. But they never mention when Cavs players are out. The last time the Cavs lost to the Celtics, Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade were out. And they matter a lot. The Cavs thoroughly dominated this game after going down 25-3. They outscored the Celtics 120-91 after being down that much. 120-91 after being down 25-3 to start the game. The Celtics shot out of their minds in the first quarter. You knew that couldn't continue. Are they a good shooting team? Well, of course they are. But they aren't going to shoot that the entire game. In the first quarter, the Celtics shot 52%. But they were 50% from three-point range. The Cavs, on the other hand, shot 50% and 44% from three-point range. But in the first minutes of the game, they were 5 of 6 from 3, and the Cavs were 0 for 5. So for the remainder of the game, if we look at that, the Celtics were 12 of 33, and the Cavaliers were 17 of 35. There it is right there. They made 5 more threes from that point on, and they won that game. They showed everybody tonight in a national game. You could hear it in the ESPN broadcasters' voices. They were getting worried. They were. Richard Jefferson wasn't. He's a former Cav. So at least somebody there, wasn't against the Cavs. I'm a huge Doris Burke fan, but it seemed like every time tonight a foul went against the Cavs or against the Celtics, Doris Burke complained about it. And I like Doris Burke. She's a great broadcaster, I think. But tonight, it was apparent that she really wanted the Celtics to win this game. The wind was taken out of her in the last few minutes. It was funny. Also, she really dislikes Darius Garland. I don't know what happened at some point, why she dislikes Garland like she does. But she really seems to dislike Darius Garland. But, hey, that's neither here nor there. Cavs won the game. Evan Mobley had an amazing game. A double-double, 17 points. It's not a lot, but 12 boards. He was huge in the fourth quarter. Let's look and see how many rebounds he had in the fourth quarter. He had eight of his 12 rebounds in the final quarter and scored 11 of his 17 points. In the second half, the Cavs outscored the Celtics 59-42. It wasn't even close. They just, early in the third quarter, it looked like, okay, the Celtics are going to come back and, finish the Cavs off. The Cavs aren't going to be able to finish this comeback. Years ago, Chuck Daly told me it's really hard in the NBA to finish a comeback when you're down by 20 or more. But I had a feeling, I had a feeling watching this game, and the fact that the Cavs got the score down to 10 at halftime was, to me, a sign that they could possibly, come back and win this game. It was a great comeback by the team. And I just think that, it's a huge boost of confidence for these guys. They were at the lowest depths possible. Halfway, almost midway, or 8 minutes through that first quarter, down by 25, and they cut it to 12 at the, end of the first. And then they outscored the Celtics by 2 in the second and cut it to 10 at halftime. Then they outscored the Celtics by 7 in the third and cut it to 3 going into the fourth quarter. And the Cavs' record is not great when trailing going into the fourth quarter. But 2 of their wins trailing going into the fourth quarter this year are against the Boston Celtics. That's a great sign going into the playoffs. Nobody wants to bring that stuff up. Everybody wants to say, oh, they were down by 25 or 20, they were down 25-3 in the first quarter. Oh, they're terrible. They're terrible. Nobody wants to focus on the positives. Well, I'm here to focus on the positives for the Cavaliers. Covering every home game, I see what this team is. They have a great bench. Okay, he didn't use the bench as much tonight, but he could have. If he had to bring some of those guys in off the bench, I'm telling you something. If he hadn't used Jalen Tyson tonight, he'd have come in and played fine. He would have. That guy isn't afraid. If he had to bring Craig Porter in, Craig Porter would have played. He's a little guy, but he's tougher than anything. But I've had confidence in this team that they could get past Boston in the playoffs. Obviously, this is a regular season game, but everybody was measuring the 2 losses as games that were big. Well, how about we measure the 2 wins now? The Cavs won they split the season series, and the Cavs outscored them in the season series now by 3 points. So are the Celtics still the favorite in the East? I'm sure the national media will still say that because Porzingis and Holiday were out. They never bring it up when the Cavs have guys out, but that's going to be the narrative on Monday. I got into it with a national talk show host early this morning about the Cavs and him not believing in them. He's a Knicks fan. He hates the Celtics, but he still doesn't believe in the Cavs. He probably still thinks the Knicks are better than the Cavs. That's a joke in itself. They got worse this year. I said they got worse this year, and they have gotten worse this year. They gave up defense for Karl Anthony Towns, and he's scoring a lot. He's averaging a good amount, but they're giving up a heck of a lot more, I think, than they did last year. They just don't have the defense they had last year. The Cavs defense is good or maybe better than last year. Their offense is without a doubt better. Evan Mobley has moved into a different stratosphere with his play this year. He's much more aggressive this year. I think Jared Allen's about the same, but you know what? They missed Jared Allen in the playoffs last year against Boston, but nobody brings that up. That Mitchell and Allen missed a few games in that series. We're not going to bring that up because, that would make it look like the Cavs actually aren't terrible. But it was amazing to see them come back and win this game tonight. It was They played like they can play. I wasn't stunned by this at all. I really wasn't. I told my son at halftime they were going to win the game. I believed they were going to win the game. Donovan Mitchell finished with 41 points. He scored 12 in the fourth quarter. He was 5 of 13 from 3, 10 of 11 on free throws. This is what I like tonight. The Cavs were 16 of 19 from the free throw line for 84%. The Celtics were 13 of 17 for 77%. So the game ended. The Celtics outshot the Cavs by slightly from the field, but the Cavs shot better from three-point range after that miserable start, and they made more free throws than the Celtics. It's crazy that the fouls were even. Actually, the Celtics had 19 fouls called against them, and the Cavs had 14, which is stunning. That never happens in the NBA. We all know that. When you go to Boston Garden, you never have less fouls called against you than the Boston Celtics have called against them. So I got to give credit to the officiating tonight. It was a well-officiated game. And I would have said that even if the Cavs ended up losing. But it's the Cavs have now won 9 in a row. They really have a shot at winning streak. They have a shot. There's games that you don't want to overlook games, but they have a shot at getting this winning streak to 15 like they did earlier in the season. With this win tonight, it's, as I said, 9 in a row. Their next 6 games are against Chicago, Portland, Chicago, Miami. That's at home. They finally play Miami at home. Charlotte, Milwaukee. Now, there's a tough one. It's at Milwaukee. And the Nets. They could possibly get to 15 in a row again. I'm not sure any team in NBA history has ever had two 15-game winning streaks in one season. So we'll see, but Portland's coming in Sunday. You never know. You're going to overlook a team, and it could bite you. So we'll see what's going to happen. But the Cavs were victorious tonight, 123-116. I will talk to you Sunday from Rocket Arena with the Sentinel Sports Extra pregame show before the Cavs take on those Trailblazers. That game is at 3:30. We'll probably be with you around, I would say, 1:30, somewhere in there. So hope you can join us. But once again, the final tonight from TD Bank Arena, TD Bank Garden, Canadian company, TD Bank Garden. Cavaliers, 123. The Boston Celtics, 116.